What is up, you guys? We are back with a Walking Dead inspired zombie makeup. I went ahead and got started already by putting down some Vaseline around my edges to protect the baby hairs and quickly covering my brows with a washable glue stick and translucent powder. I should probably preface this video by letting you know that these are actually silicone appliances encapsulated in cat plastic that I sculpted, molded, and ran completely by myself. They were originally designed to fit an older white male actor, so I was a little concerned that it might be too large or look a little too bizarre on my face, but I wanted to show you guys the process anyways, and in the end, I kind of ended up liking the makeup. I'll put a link in the description below of how I learned how to make flat molds, since this video is strictly talking about the application and painting process. Okay, now back to the tutorial. I then trimmed down the cat plastic edges a bit more once I figured out the placement, applied Prosaide Adhesive to the backs of the appliances, and then applied directly onto my skin. I also used a Q-tip to add any extra adhesive to areas as needed. Next, I dipped a Q-tip in 99% isopropyl alcohol and began thinning out the edges by dissolving some of the excess cat plastic all around both appliances. Next, I applied a few layers of Prosaide all around the edges to build up more of a transition. Cream Prosaide would have been more ideal as this original adhesive kind of runs pretty thin, but I'm just working with what I have. And once it's dry, go ahead and sweep on a translucent powder all over so we don't have any sticky surface. For the painting process, I'm using a couple alcohol-based skin Illustrator palettes. I'll be working in layers to build up a more natural complexion. Starting off, I began stippling on the color Rice Paper from the Fleshtone's palette, while alternating with the color Coral Adjuster all over the face and appliances. Switching to a small brush, I'm focusing on the edges again with rice paper. Going in with a mix of Natural 2 and Lao 1 from the Fleshtone's palette, I'm laying down the base in all the different crevices and areas where shadows would fall in and around the appliances. I'm emphasizing raised highlighted areas again with the color Rice Paper and going back in to deepen some of the shadowy areas. Using a toothbrush, I'm stippling on Coral Adjuster all over the face before adding another layer of rice paper all over. Layering up the colors Dark Brune and Rotten Stone from the Grunge palette, I'm emphasizing the concave temple areas. Soften it all out with rice paper and add in some small details we may have lost in there. Going back in again with Dark Brune, I'm adding some grungy shadows to the concave temple area on the other side of my face. Taking Rotten Stone, I'm going over most of the raised edges of the appliance. Using a fluffy brush, I'm sweeping a mix of Naked 2 and faint Urban Decay Basic Palette eyeshadows all over the inside of the eye socket areas and in various areas on the face for some added grunge. I'm also using these colors to contour and slim my nose down. And for some added grungy dimension, I'm contouring my cheeks using Mocha from my NYX Contour and Highlight palette. Next, conceal your lips using any light color concealer or foundation. Taking a red-brown cream, I'm blending in around my eye area. Later off camera, you'll notice that I actually went in and added a red-brown and a red-violet cream underneath my eyes and close to my waterline as well. Taking a black eyeshadow, I'm using Crave from the Basics palette again, sweep directly below the eyebrow for added dimension and a more sunken in look. Using a very fair CC cream, I'm applying it all over my neck and chest. And with no particular method, I'm using various Skin Illustrator colors to grunge up my neck. Using dark brune, I'm stippling all over to begin dirtying up the face. Using the color Aged Blood from the SFX palette, I add in some details and stipple on the very intersection of my lips, which I immediately regret because, dear God, my lips are chapped, and that's 99% isopropyl alcohol. Use a separate brush for the nose, and I alternate adding layers of Aged Blood to the nostril and the outer mouth corner areas. Going back in with Rotten Stone on the raised edges. Adding a pop of green on this edge with the color Green Adjuster. Because this was not originally made for my face, there is a small gap at the eye socket, which I was able to remedy by taking a small bit of cotton fibers that I took from a Q-tip, dipped in Prosaide, and filled in the gap. While that dries, I'm going back in with the same brown eyeshadows from before and contouring my collarbones. Next, to break the skin up a bit, I'm splattering on a bit of rice paper before going back in with some eyeshadows. After washing my hands, I'm carefully applying my white contacts. And of course, you gotta take a few selfies because we're really feeling ourselves after we spent forever beating our face to death. Get it? Yeah. Then I decided my lips looked a little too clean, so I fixed that with some brown eyeshadows. To make the hair look nice and greasy, I used some cheap conditioner in the roots. You could, of course, dump the whole bottle on your head depending on the level of grossness you're going for. Next, make sure to get yourself pumped up by pretending you're starring in your own zombie Pantene commercial. Really get yourself into character, and this look is finished. Thanks for stopping by and watching this tutorial. If you want to connect with me, you can find me everywhere at Alethea_Spencer on Instagram, Twitter, and on Snapchat as well. As usual, I'll leave all those links down in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!